Now let us see what do you mean by decentralization of democracy. Decentralization of democracy. Now decentralization is the opposite word of centralization. Now in India, we have the central government, and below the central government we have many state governments, and below the state government we have many local governments. Local governments means the villages, the panchayats, the sarpanch. So this kind is known as decentralization. Now suppose this decentralization was not there, then what would happen? All the powers would be situated only with the center, and if any problem arises here at the local level, then they have to always come here for solution. And this would not only increase the time of taking the decision and the help, but also create a very huge communication gap. But now what happens if there is any problem in the village? So they are going to consult their local government. If local government is able to solve it, they will solve. If they can't solve, then they will go to the state government for help. And state will try to solve it. And if required, whatever help from the central, then the state will ask to the central. So in this way, the working becomes faster. So in India, we have got the decentralization of democracy. And after the independence, this came into existence, so that participation of the common people also could be brought in. Now when you see the local government in the village, the sarpanch and all, these are all common people of the villages. If there was only a central government, you cannot expect a person from a village to become the Prime Minister of India directly. But then here, it is possible to take the local people also into the governing. And one important amendment, because earlier this was not there in the government or in the constitution written, we just had the central and the state government. And villages, what used to happen, they had their own sarpanch and panchayati raj, and they used to do with that. And if any problem is there, then the government used to interfere. But these people governing the local bodies, that is the sarpanch, panchayat, they did not have any constitutional rights, because constitution it was not written that they are going to govern that place. This was just an informal they had made, and it was surviving like this in the government. But the 73rd and the 74th amendment, also known as the 11th and 12th schedule, this was added in the Indian constitution, okay, which gave such powers to the local government. So 73rd and 74th amendment it is known as. Amendment का मतलब होता है change. Okay, it is also known as the 11th and 12th schedule. So after the introduction of this, whatever local governing institutions were there in the village, they also got the recognition in the Indian constitution. Okay. Now next, let us see right to information. Right to information is also known as RTI. RTI. And the latest amendment done in this is in 2005. So whenever we write any articles, we always write the year when last it was updated. So in the year 2005, it was updated last. Now what does this right to information mean? Now when the government is controlling a country, is governing a country, there should be a ट्रांसपेरेंसी. ट्रांसपेरेंसी का मतलब होता है कि जो भी गवर्नमेंट कर रहा है दैट एवरीबडी शुड नो. देयर शुड बी अ ट्रांसपेरेंसी. The government cannot say that we are not going to disclose this particular things to you all. You need not know. You are getting your work done. Be satisfied in that. This is not possible. Every citizen has got a right to ask the government about anything, about any decisions the government takes. And that right is known as right to information. I should have the information. For example, take a small example. A road is being constructed from east to west. The bridge is made. Now I want to exactly know that how much was the expenditure, who got the contract and all those things. I can file an RTI. Filing an RTI means I will give a written application demanding the fact that I would like to know that who is the person who has made this particular bridge. And they have to answer my question. So that is known as transparency. Transparent का मतलब क्या होता है? What we can see through. So the system should be transparent. We should be able to see what the government is doing. So that the government will be forced to work in a fair way. Accountability means that you can hold somebody responsible for something. I want to know that who has made this bridge, and if the bridge collapses, then that person is going to be accountable. That is, he is going to be punished, he is going to be made to answer for that. He has to take the responsibility of the fall of the bridge. So because of right of information, the government has become more and more transparent, and the secrecy working of the government has reduced. And after the year 2000, the whole approach towards the democratic reforms changed. Now democratic reforms are considered as rights of the citizen. Whatever reforms means changes. Whatever change, reform का मतलब होता है change for the betterment. So whatever changes for the betterment were made in the democratic constitution, in the democracy, they are known as rights of the citizens. For example, in India we have got right to information. Nobody can hide anything from me. I have got the right to know. Then we have got right to education. Every Indian citizen has got a right to education. No school can tell no to a child. Government schools, they have to take even the weaker and the poorer student. Not only that, in all the private schools, the government has made it compulsory. Some percentage of the seats have to be given to the weaker and poorer section, because they have got the right of education. He cannot be denied education in his country. And food security. Everyone has got the right to food. The government is liable to give all the information asked by the citizen of India. The government is liable to educate every citizen of India, and the government is liable to provide food and security to every citizen of India. And because of these rights, the democracy in India has been strengthened. So, right to information, right to education, right to food, and right to security. Security means tomorrow if some country attacks us, or say there is a robbery and all these things, there's law, civil order, everything is the responsibility of the government to keep us safe from all these things. Now look at the green box which is there, rights-based approach. It states that decades means period of 10 years. Decades after independence, always the progress was made towards making India more and more democratic. And in this process, always it was taken into care that the beneficiaries will be the citizens. That is, only citizens are to be benefited by whatever changes were made by the government. Never the benefit of the government was to be seen. And in the last few decades, now even development of the country is considered as a right of the citizens. If I am a citizen of India, it is my right that my country should develop. The government should take steps for developing the country. Okay. taking up all the inputs from the world globally and taking new advancements in science, technology, adopting to the new technologies. Then they've asked a question, in your opinion, how will you approach, change the relation between the government and citizens? Like this particular approach, how it is going to change the relations between the government and citizens? It is going to, according to me, I'll just put forth my views. According to me, the government and the citizen will become more and more closer, because now government will be binded to work for the development of the citizens, and citizens will feel proud of their government and the country. The government will become more responsible and more accountable to the citizen, and the country naturally will be developing more and more. Then look at the purple box. There they're given a question to discuss, that if right, that do you think that citizens in India should have the right to employment? And according to you, if everyone gets the right to shelter, how will it affect democracy in India? I feel that yes, citizens should have the right to employment. It is the government's responsibility to see that every citizen who is staying in his country gets a job. So they have to provide the employment. When you are providing education, when you are educating them, it is your duty to see that you create sources of employment. You are opening up industries, you are inviting foreign companies for their investment and giving employment to all. According to you, if everyone gets the right to shelter, how will it affect democracy in India? Now what happens over here, we have many people living below the poverty line who don't have a house, who don't have a shelter. And there are many antisocial elements who give them protection, who give them house, who give them shelter, and in return make them vote for the people whom they want. So this thing will be stopped. When a person knows that this is the right of shelter is my right and the government has given me, then he is not going to be scared of anyone, and he is going to go and vote for the party, for the person whom he likes. So I feel that if right to shelter is given, then the democracy is going to become more and more fair.